Hello. Hello. Today we are going to discuss about vagal stimulation, Brock's heart, vagal stimulation, the effect of continuous stimulation on the vagus and right eccentric line of the heart, Brock's heart. This thing effect we are going to see. This will be kept in the exams, and you have to identify the graph and also the answers which we are going to ask. Therefore, these are important. Vagal escape and vagal escape is very important. You have to answer it correctly, giving the causes regarding why vagal inhibition is occurring and why vagal escape is occurring. Simply, if you identify it as vagal escape, it doesn't carry much marks. Only 1 mark will be given for identification. The total graph chart carries about 5 marks, and the other marks will be allotted for the questions you give proper answers. And by the way, we are having exams from 7th onwards. That is the final internal assessment on final year exams pattern, 2 papers, whole syllabus. And therefore, please study. And we are going to add up all the second internal, first internal, and third internal marks and prepare a final list. Therefore, be prepared and answer seriously. And some people have just uploaded a biochemistry paper for practicals. Now, second internal assessment, biochemistry paper was uploaded, not 5 or something like that. And one girl has uploaded her photo. This photo, complete her picture was there on this thing. And another candidate also written to open. Okay. These 3 candidates are going to get 0. When you are uploading, you have to see whether you have uploaded a biochemistry paper for physiology or physiology paper for physiology. What nonsense you are doing? Uploading a biochemistry paper for physiology exams. Huh? You are going to get a 0. And another girl, a big photograph of her. She has to see what she has uploaded. We don't want to see any photographs of anybody. We just want a matter. For all these candidates, I am going to give 0. And be serious. Nobody is coming for the online classes. Very few people are coming for online classes, and the attendance is going to be strict. There's no compromise in case of attendance. It's all recorded. Day by day attendance is recorded. And we are going to add up all those attendance. And if you give lame excuses, saying this and that and absconding from these classes, that will not do. You will be the losers in the end. Therefore, again and again I am warning that attendance is compulsory, and it is a recorded attendance. Those people who have attended the class only will be given attendance. Those people who have not attended, no attendance. And we are seeing from the last 10 days, we are observing that attendance is very poor. I have told the class representative, in spite of she telling you all, you are not having any interest in improving the attendance. This is not a full this thing. Classes are just online, but you are neglecting it. Negligence is not good, and you will be the suffer if there is no attendance. Now let's go into the subject. And see, you upload the proper paper when the exams are over. Not another subject paper for physiology paper, and not your photographs. And all these things you see, and you double check what you have uploaded, and then only we will be able to correct your answer sheets. Otherwise, correction is not possible, and will not even give you a second warning. We'll just put a 0 on there. Here's the vagosynthetic trunk of a frog. Here first we have to dissect the frog and trace out the vagosympathetic trunk. Here is the vagosympathetic trunk of an amphibian, that is the frog. It is carrying both preganglionic parasympathetic fibers and postganglionic sympathetic fibers. This is the vagus nerve. In case of frog, it is a mixed. Both parasympathetic and sympathetic nerves are in the same place, that is, they are mixed. Whereas in human beings, they are separate. And here, the parasympathetic fibers are more than the sympathetic fibers. And therefore, the effect of the parasympathetic effect is more. The effect of parasympathetic is inhibition on the heart, and the effect of sympathetic is stimulation. Therefore, here, since parasympathetic fibers are more than the sympathetic fibers, we see an effect of stimulation. Yeah, this is this. In frog, both parasympathetic and sympathetic fibers are at the same place, mixed here. Whereas in the human beings, they are not separate. Now, I have told you the effect of parasympathetic and sympathetic fibers on the heart. Parasympathetic fibers actions are more. Here the vagus nerve. Vagus, receptor, vagus nerve. Now, what is vagal tone? The intrinsic heart rate is about 100 to 120 per minute. The intrinsic heart rate, what is the intrinsic heart rate? Is the heart rate when we get when the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve endings are denervated. That is, there's no connection. They are denervated. They are cut. Therefore, without any sympathetic and parasympathetic innervation, the tone is, the heart rate is about 100 to 120. That is the intrinsic heart rate of the heart. Therefore, the intrinsic heart rate is 100 to 120 when there is no effect of vagal tone. When the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves are there connected, then the tone comes down to about 60 to 80 per minute. Therefore, this is due to vagal tone. This 60 to 80 per minute when the vagus is connected with the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve fibers, innervated. If they are denervated, it is when there is no effect of sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves, it is 100 to 100. This is more. Therefore, this we call it as a vagal tone. Now, here we are having two graphs. The first graph is this, when we are giving a vagal stimulation at a lower strength. Here the strength of stimulation, continuous stimulation of the vagus is given here, and here also continuous stimulation of the vagosympathetic trunk is given. That is, vagosympathetic trunk, as I already told, is carrying both sympathetic and parasympathetic fibers in front, and because there are more parasympathetic fibers, action of parasympathetic is more. And therefore, here and here also we are stimulating continuously, but here at a lower strength. Here at a lower strength. Therefore, when we are stimulating at a lower strength, when we are stimulating at a lower strength, the heart rate is decreased and the height of contraction amplitude is also decreased. Here at the lower strength, the heart rate is decreased, the height of contraction is also decreased. When we are continuously stimulating the vagus at a higher strength, there is a vagal inhibition followed by vagal escape. At a lower strength, we are having decrease in heart rate and decrease in amplitude of contraction. At a higher strength, we are having vagal escape and also vagal inhibition first, and then we are having vagal escape. Yeah, therefore, if you stimulate continuously the vagus nerve at a lower strength, there will be only a decrease in heart rate and decrease in contraction. Therefore, you have to identify the graphs properly. This graph is at a lower strength. That's why you are seeing the contractions at a slower rate. That is, heart rate is less. Now we are going in for higher strength. When you are stimulating for the higher strength, there's a inhibition. First stage is inhibition. The heart is stopping. It's not working. There's a vagal inhibition. Vagal inhibition. This is followed by vagal escape. Vagal escape. Okay? The escape. What is vagal escape? The escape of a heart from the inhibitory effect of continuous vagal stimulation is called vagal escape. The escape of heart from the inhibitory effect of continuous vagal stimulation is called vagal escape. Therefore, you should be able to say what is vagal escape. The escape of heart from the inhibitory effect of continuous vagal stimulation is called vagal escape. That is the definition of vagal escape. Now, what happens? We are giving a continuous stimulation at a higher strength. There are no contractions for a few seconds. There are no contractions. This is called a vagal inhibition. The causes of vagal inhibition are because there are continuous contractions are there, more amount of acetylcholine is released. When there's more acetylcholine, the calcium potassium channels open up. There's a more influx of potassium ions into the nodal tissues, and thereby the cyclic AMP levels decrease. When the cyclic AMP levels decrease, the calcium ions in the cardiac tissues also decrease. The inflow of calcium ions into the cardiac tissues also decrease. Therefore, there are no contractions. Once more I am repeating, you have identified the graph, and we have discussed about what is vagal escape, and now we are discussing about what is vagal inhibition. Therefore, all these points you have to know. Vagal inhibition causes large amount of acetylcholine due to repeated stimulations we are giving at a higher strength. Large amount of acetylcholine released. There's potassium channels open up. More influx of potassium ions into the nodal tissues, and then decreased cyclic AMP. Calcium ions in the cardiac muscle decreases, and thereby the heart rate decreases. This is the cause. Yes, here. Increased acetylcholine, increased potassium ions, decreased cyclic AMP, decreased calcium ions, all this lead to vagal inhibition. Now, after some time, what happens? The cardiac muscle escapes the effect of this vagal inhibition. And the cause of this vagal escape is idioventricular rhythm. Ventricle, another rhythm is created in the ventricles. Therefore, self at a slower rate. Previous normal heart rate was that will not be there. And there will be a lower rate of heart. Therefore, idioventricular rhythm, that is created here, idioventricular rhythm. And also the acetylcholine decreases. And the third factor is the sympathetic fibers, which are first parasympathetic fibers are activated. This is what happens as the stimulation is increasing. In due course, the sympathetic fibers also get activated and they start stimulating. Therefore, we have 3 points here. Development of idioventricular rhythm, decrease of acetylcholine, and activation of sympathetic neurons. Therefore, these are the 3 factors causing vagal escape. Vagal inhibition, vagal escape is the escape of the heart from the inhibitory effect of continuous vagal stimulation is called as vagal escape. Vagal inhibition is due to increased acetylcholine, increased potassium ions, decreased cyclic AMP, and decreased calcium ions. This is causing stoppage of heart vagal inhibition. Yeah, this is due to decrease in acetylcholine, idioventricular rhythm, increase in activity of synthetic fibers. This is the cause of vagal escape. The vagosynthetic trunk contains preganglionic fibers of preganglionic fibers of parasympathetic nerve fibers and postganglionic synthetic fibers. The vagosynthetic trunk carries preganglionic parasympathetic nerve fibers and postsympathetic fibers. This vagosympathetic trunk contains. I have already told you about the vagal tone. The base intrinsic heart rate is 100 to 120, and due to this vagal tone, it has been decreased to 60 to 80. Suppose the innervation of synthetic and parasympathetic fibers are cut, then the vagal tone will be 100 to 120. If the innervation of synthetic and parasympathetic fibers are there, the vagal tone will be 60 to 80. This is due to vagal tone. And we have got another thing, vagal syncope. Suppose sometimes in extreme emotions, the heart stops because of vasodilatation of the vessels and the decreased cardiac output. The decreased supply of decreased supply of this blood vessels supply less to the cerebral tissue. Therefore, tissue perfusion decreases. Cerebral tissue perfusion decreases. Vagal syncope. Sudden emotional upsets. Extreme degree of sudden emotional upsets may cause vasodilatation, decrease in cardiac output, decrease in perfusion of cerebral tissues. And this leads to unconsciousness for a few seconds. This is due to vagal inhibition. But again, the person regains his consciousness in a few seconds because the phenomena of vagal escape occurs. Therefore, this is an vagal syncope. Vagal inhibition occurs for a short time, and then the person's heart rate again starts beating, though at a slower rate due to sympathetic activity, decreased ACH, idioventricular rhythm, all these factors, and therefore again supply is restored, and the patient regains consciousness. Therefore, this effect may also be due to this regaining of consciousness is due to this vagal inhibition, and this we have got the heart. Suppose this is very advantage. This vagal escape is very advantage to the heart. Suppose for some reason the vagal, there's an inhibition of the heart. Soon a new idioventricular rhythm sets in, and the heart starts beating again. And therefore, this also saves the patient. And to regain the cerebral consciousness, the brain bridge reflex also helps. The brain bridge reflex is there, that also comes into role. Therefore, a person suddenly falling unconscious and then again regaining a syncope, we call it as a vagal syncope. The brain bridge reflex also comes into play. And now we have the effect of stimulation of white crescentic line. Effect of stimulation of white crescentic line. Here, vagosynthetic stimulation, and here is the white crescentic line stimulation. Both are having inhibitory effect on heart. Both are having an inhibitory effect on heart, but stimulation of white crescentic line requires more strength. White crescentic line stimulation, this strength required for stimulation is more when compared to the this vagosynthetic trunk. And what is white crescentic line? It carries postganglionic parasympathetic neurons. The white crescentic line is nothing but a postganglionic parasympathetic neurons which are situated in the cardiac tissue between atria and ventricle. Postganglionic parasympathetic neurons situated at the junction of the atria and the ventricle in the cardiac tissue. This is called as white precentric line. Postganglionic parasympathetic neurons situated at the junction of atria and ventricles. These are known as white precentric line, and this ganglion is also known as Remark's ganglion. Remark's ganglion. This is the white precentric line, and therefore stimulation of white precentric line requires more strength than stimulation of this thing, vagosympathetic trunk. Therefore, in a nutshell, this is what we are expecting you to tell in the examination. What is white precentric line? You should define. If we have postganglionic parasympathetic neurons situated at the junction of the atria and ventricles, that is called as white precentric line. It's also given the name as Remark's ganglion, and it requires more strength. Here also the effect is same, inhibition only, and then escape from the inhibition, and then starting of another rhythm at a slower rate. Vagal stimulation, I have already given you what is the definition of vagal stimulation. What is vagal syncope, I told you. What is vagal tone? Intrinsic vagal heart rate, I have told you. Intrinsic heart rate, I told you. What is the difference between the intrinsic heart rate? It is when there is no sympathetic or parasympathetic connection, and also. Therefore, these things you should be able to tell. Okay, I think you'll be able to tell vagal escape of heart from the inhibitory effect of continuous vagal stimulation is called vagal escape. Escape of heart from inhibitory effect of continuous vagal stimulation. The vagosympathetic trunk carries preganglionic fibers of parasympathetic nerves and postganglionic fibers of sympathetic neurons. This is this thing. And the causes for the vagal inhibition: increased acetylcholine, increased potassium ions, decreased cycling KMP, decreased calcium. And the causes of vagal escape also by idioventricular development of self rhythm in the ventricle, another rhythm, idioventricular rhythm, another rhythm. And the increase of sympathetic activity, decreased acetylcholine. Okay, with this we stop our class, and please remember these points are very important. You should be able to define what is vagosympathetic trunk. You should be able to say what is white precentric line and what are the causes of vagal inhibition, what are the causes of vagal escape, and what happens when the stimulus strength is less, and what happens when the stimulus strength is more. All these things you should be able to know. And what fibers are situated in the vagosympathetic trunk, and what is the difference of the human vagosympathetic trunk. Here the vagosympathetic and parasympathetic fibers are situated differently. Here they are mixed. All these things you should be able to discuss. Okay, thank you.